Good morning. I have a nice new sculpture guide for you to download this morning. This is a few sketches that are made from an accurately life-sized Western tanager. And this is at learnsculpture.org. Under the sculpture guides tab, you can just download these pictures for free. It's a little introduction with um, in a PDF document that you can download. You don't have to leave your email. You can just get it. I just made this over the weekend so that you can follow along because I decided based on the dioxides that I had to choose from these days that I really wanted to do this sculpture. I'm still working on the raccoon, but I thought I would have this ready for you today. So what I have is I did a quick sketch of an idea. I put a few supports here so I could put it together. A Western tanager bird. Hi, Cindy. I put a Western tanager bird on a quick branch that I put together, but now I'm going to take this apart. And Cindy, I was explaining if you go on Learn Sculpture, I created a new guide for the Western tanager. And this is, wait, this this page here is the life-size version that you can measure. So for example, if you, hi Mark, if you measure, and Mark knows all this really well, but this is a life-size group of sketches that I did. And I was very careful to make sure it was completely life-size so that if you measure beak to the tip of the tail, that is the life-size Western tanager bird. And so if you measure the center of the eye to the tip of the beak, that is correct. So these are correct proportions, especially in this view. This view I created so you get the width of the eyes. So you put your measuring tool in the center of each eye here. That is life size, and that is as accurate as I could get it to the actual bird. So, um, oh, thank you. Well, you can get these drawings, Cindy and Mark. You can just download these from learnsculpture.org. And I kind of made a little document. Now, you'll notice a document that's free. Just download it. All right, this is the, whoops, this is the cover. I can't do things backwards. And those two pictures are generated by AI, so they were free for me to use. I don't have an actual photo that I've taken of the Western tanager, so I had to do it that way. And of course, these are, I just carefully measured the real bird to get, the measurements of the real bird to get those life-size measurements. So certainly you want to check it, but I think you'll be very happy that that does represent the actual proportion. Now, it's not very detailed, but we have just enough detail. Okay, the thickness of the body, you know, the size of the head from several directions. So now you can start with your clay, and you could even almost like a slab, lay it down and start to build it up. But I already had this very messy, and I'm going to take these so-called legs out right now. These are just that's just a piece of wire that I put in there to simulate it, because what I'm going to do is add to this study with the very detailed. I didn't have time to do that, but we want to have accurate legs. I do anyway, um, because I think it just adds to the sense of authenticity. And so I'll do a separate drawing and then add to this PDF document that I've started. So in my days, I think I explained, oops, a little, a little bit of my background. I did take a break from sculpture for quite a while and learned graphic design. So I use InDesign, I use Photoshop, and it's come in handy so that I can create these documents for everyone to be able to use and follow. So I'm glad I took that detour. So we'll get started. I have this is so crude and rough and uneven, and it's very hard. I didn't warm this up today. but I really feel it's so small, I didn't really have to. So I'm going to take my diagram and I'm just going to get my hot clay here. And it's kind of hot, so I'm going to use my little paddle so I don't hurt my hands. Now just get in here and get out some clay, put it on my little homemade turntable. It's pretty hot right now. I'm just going to, pretend it's like icing and just put icing on the cake. So I'm just going to build this up a little bit and try to get the width of the head right, if nothing else. I do need to add more drawing so you can really get the full picture, exactly how the wings are detailed. But at least you get the overall dimension. And I can see right now that I'm putting it down on my picture and seeing where I need to add. And I'll just keep measuring as I go. And what's great is it's to have a pattern, and Mark knows this very well, you really don't feel so lost. I mean, people who do it by eye, they've also learned by doing it a lot and using measurements. So um, practice makes perfect, as they say. So I'm just gonna, I hope you don't have any trouble finding this little document. If you do, please ask me, I'll help you find it. It's at learnsculpture.org, and it's just a simple 3-page PDF document. And it's under the sculpture guides, and I just added that link this morning. If you don't see the link right away, refresh your page, because you might be looking at what they call a cached view, an old page. So I'm just going to build that up. But those color oxides got me very excited. I thought, oh my goodness. And I don't know if you've all seen the video. It's in the community section of the YouTube channel and our YouTube channel. And you'll see there's a link where Sculpt Nouveau, the company that makes that, demonstrates how it gets layered on with a, he uses a torch, but you can also use a heat gun. But what's shocking is how like opaque it can be, how strong those colors are. You don't want it to look artificial and you want it to look integrated with the piece. But I think that you could achieve almost like a really beautiful art bronze look, but still get those colors to pop, which I would be very excited about because there's a lot of birds that would be really nice to do in bronze if you could color them well and not just a plain old brown patina. So this gives me inspiration. So I'm getting there. Let's see, I gotta push this down, get that head down. Let me see. Getting better. As I work, I'm also going to look at the front view because that's why I created that little front face. So you could see how wide it is from eye to eye. And just, we want to make it correct or try to in the beginning. I think stylized art is great, but really great stylized art always gives an evidence of great proportions. You can always tell the artist understands proportions, and what makes sculpture that's very stylized particularly effective is if there are realistic proportions, but then the forms in between the different dimensions are simplified in a harmonious kind of way. That really, I'm trying to think of a sculptor that was very popular that did animals, and you could find them in a lot of galleries, but they were highly stylized. I can't think of his name right now. I should know that. But the thing that made them so elegant was the proportions. Anybody have any questions or contributions or suggestions? I by no means know everything here, and I can always enjoy having new information and suggestions, and then we can pass that on. So if you have any ideas or you think I'm missing something, please feel free to contribute. because I think that's great. It all just helps everybody get better. So I'm going to work on this for a few minutes. And the colors in this with the Gamble oak. I don't know if you can see, I asked the AI bot to create Gamble oak, but that was pretty darn close. Let's see if I can get that, especially on the yellow, which would have been like a female Western tanager. That's a really pretty mountain tree around here. It usually is at about 6,000 feet or higher, and it has really pretty little acorns. And since these like the high elevations, the high mountains, they're often found in the pine trees up. Uh, Now, right up above us, we're at 5,000 feet. Oh, Cindy, thank you. We're at 5,000 feet where we are in right above Prescott Valley. But if we drive just 15 minutes, we'll be at 7,000 feet um, over what's called Mingus Mountain. And on the other side of that is Sedona, Arizona, which a lot of people have heard of. And funny, because I lived there for 7 years, it turned out. But when I was born and raised and living in Pennsylvania, I heard people going on about Sedona, and I thought, is that a religion? It's a place, but maybe it is like a religion. I lived there for 7 years, and it's a long story. And Chuck and I lived there for 7 years, but it's right over the mountain. So we have a lot of mountain and desert mixed together in terms of wildlife and animals, and it's pretty neat. So, and I'm inspired. And I saw a roadrunner in our yard twice this week. So the roadrunner is now on the list. Roadrunners are really, really interesting. They're very almost reptilian in their behavior. And in fact, they're a member of the cuckoo family. So it's, you remember the old cartoon with Wile E. Coyote and the roadrunner. I can see why someone wanted to create that cartoon character because they are like a cartoon. And they'll hang around my bird feeders sometimes and try to get the birds, which is a little frightening. They look like a big skinny chicken. All right, so I'm working on that and getting that tail. And Mark, you're just so used to doing such a very careful measurement for your wood. But do you actually try to do clay as a just a maybe a break from the stringency of the wood carving, just to get your hands kind of into something that's a little bit more fluid? You can say or say not, but I'm wondering if that's something you're interested in or just watching. Hi, Al. So I'm here, I'll just explain for you since you always show up. Download this at your leisure from my learnsculpture.org website. It's under the sculpture guides tab. And it's, of course, no charge. Just I want people to be able to have these guides so that this is a realistically sized Western tanager. I did this over the weekend so everyone can measure the bird correctly. And so I took it off my little branch, and I'm just using what I set up here to try to um, accurately size in a general way this bird. And then I'm going to add to this document with um, the feet, very detailed. Um, well, you know what's interesting about the Western tanager? It's almost like, okay, find yourself a standard bird. What would be a standard bird? Maybe a bluebird or a robin. And I mean, yes, it's a Western species, but there's I mean, this is a bird. I mean, it's a standard bird. It doesn't have a lot of weird plumage, and there's so many birds that sort of fall in that template, and yet it's this gorgeous Western songbird that I've actually seen on my property numerous times. So they like the high elevations and they like um, the pine trees. And so actually they're up a little higher than where I live at 5,000 feet. They like to be in in the pines. Oh, there's my alarm. Are there any questions this morning? Or you can put them, you can message or put them in the comments too, and I'll answer them. But I'm supposed to quit now so I can do this again on Wednesday. Everybody get this? So I will say goodbye for now and look for questions as we go, or I will say goodbye for now and look for questions as we go or in the comments. And thank you everybody for saying hi this morning. See you on Wednesday. Bye.